What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Colby Covington reacts to Chael Sonnen's comments. Chael Sonnen raised eyebrows by reporting he was ready to throw the towel in to protect his buddy, Colby Covington, during his recent fight with Joaquin Buckley. But if you were expecting Chaos was going to be upset with the American Gangster, well, it looks like you were wrong. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Covington agreed to face the surging Buckley on short notice at the UFC's recent card in Tampa, and ultimately incurred a TKO loss due to doctor stoppage. Covington had a large gash open up over his right eye early in the fight, and in round 3, the doctor ruled the controversial fighter was done for the night. Following the bout, Sonnen, who cornered Colby, reported he was close to throwing in the towel to save Covington from any further harm. Given that Covington had since claimed a headbutt caused the cut, replays seemed to show a punch did, and that he was turning the fight around. Sonnen's comments turned some heads, but in a follow-up stream Covington did, he made it clear he has no issues with what Sonnen said.
My opinion is Chael cares about me. He's a real one. If he was throwing it in, it's because he knows I couldn't see. He knows that the where the cut was at, it was bleeding into my right eye, and I couldn't see. I was seeing 3 or 4 different people. So that's what that guy, he couldn't do nothing to me. Not even seeing anything, seeing blurry, coming off the couch. Like, look at how far my back was against the wall. But I did it for the company, like I said, guys, so don't hear me complaining. I don't want sympathy, but I did that for the company. But he knew that I couldn't see. So if he was going to do it, it's because he cares about me, and he just knows that I couldn't see, and it was going to be tough to overcome. But I thought I was coming on stronger, and I feel like they were going to have to throw in the towel for Buckley by round 5. So
because Colby and Chael go way back, it's not surprising to see that Chaos isn't getting riled up over what was said. The cut was nasty, and even if the bout would not have been stopped when it was, if the fight was taking place in, say, Vegas, you cannot blame your friend for being concerned. Where some fans and observers are pushing back on Colby, however, is in regards to his contention that he was on a path to victory. While Buckley did seem to be slowing down, he was still outstriking Colby in round 3, and Chaos looked outgunned. But what do you think? Would Colby have gone on to win if the doctor had not stopped the scrap? Up next, Khamzat Chimaev fires back at Dricus du Plessis. It remains to be seen if and when Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis end up fighting, but it certainly looks like a healthy feud between the middleweight stars is building. Chimaev and du Plessis seem to be on a collision course, given that both men keep winning fights. Most recently, Chimaev took a massive step to securing a title fight with the champion by storming through the legendary Robert Whittaker at UFC 308. While that win did move Chimaev into the number 3 ranking of the UFC's middleweight division, and despite his calls for a title shot, the UFC has booked DDP to face Sean Strickland again at UFC 312 on February 8th. Well, recently, DDP posted a picture of himself holding a shark by the fin, and when a fan joked that he should not kiss the shark on the mouth, du Plessis made a remark about Chimaev's appearance. No way, that's what Khamzat tried, and look how that turned out. DDP seems to be making light of the large scar Chimaev has on his upper lip. In a previous interview, the undefeated fighter reported that the scar was the result of falling down the stairs when he was a kid. The joke and/or insult didn't seem to sit too well with Chimaev, who responded with this warning: 2 fish in 1 photo. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes from here. To date, the rhetoric between Chimaev and DDP has not been too heated, and du Plessis has repeatedly argued that Boris deserves a title shot over Strickland. But one would think that if DDP does beat Strickland again, and if Chimaev is tapped for a title fight, tensions between the two will ratchet up. But what do you think of DDP's comments and Chimaev's reaction? And do you think we'll see these two fight in 2025, or could Strickland versus Chimaev be headed our way? UFC updates. Let's take a look at some of the matchmaking news for the UFC. Carlos Prates has yet to have his next fight booked after quickly dispatching of Neil Magny in their scrap back in September. But a recent post that the surging welterweight made has some folks wondering if he could be throwing hands with Leon Edwards next. Recently, Prates shared the following post, which teases he could be fighting the former welterweight champion soon. While stylistically there's a lot to love about that match, it would be somewhat surprising if this fight materialized next. While Prates continued to bomb his way up the welterweight rankings, he's ranked number 13, and Edwards is sitting in the number 1 spot. MMA Fighting's Guillaume Cruz also recently reported that Prates told him he's hearing the UFC is looking at holding a card in Brasilia, Brazil in May. That doesn't necessarily mean, of course, that Pratis is going to be fighting at the event, but if the UFC is considering that, and if a fight with Edwards is being discussed, that would be inconsistent with Rocky's recent claim that his next fight is being targeted for London. Not long ago, Donald Cerrone piqued the interest of his fans, as well as his critics, by reporting he's thinking about coming out of retirement. Well, not only does it look like Cerrone was serious, but it seems like the UFC is on board, as he's apparently re-entered the promotion's drug testing pool. In a recent appearance on the Pac-Man Jones show, Cowboy said, "I just re-entered the testing pool. I have to be 6 months clean. Probably June, July we'll make the comeback. Coming back for 2 more. Just 2 more. I want 50 fights in the UFC under Zuffa. I promised the wife no matter what happens, no matter the outcomes, 2 more and that's it. I just re-entered the testing pool." MMA Fighting's Damon Martin is also confirming that the legend has indeed re-entered the UFC's drug testing pool. So on one hand, it's kind of surprising because Cerrone is now 41 and because he's winless in 7 straight bouts. Also, UFC President Dana White has gone on record saying he doesn't want to see Cerrone fight again. But by all accounts, it looks like we will see Cowboy back in the cage. What are your thoughts? And Marcel Dorf is reporting that Nasrat Haqparast will battle Esteban Rivovics at the UFC March 1st card in Vegas. Haqparast is coming off a split decision victory over Jared Gordon in June and has won 4 in a row. Rivovics has won 3 straight since he incurred his only loss to date against Loic Radzhabov on March of 2023. Most recently, in September, he recorded a split decision win over Daniel Zellweger. And recently, Miranda Maverick reportedly called for an April scrap with former strawweight champion Jessica Andrade. Maverick broke into the flyweight rankings thanks to her recent unanimous decision victory over Jamie Lynn Horth, which was her 4th straight win. Andrade, meanwhile, is looking to get back on track after dropping a decision loss to Natalia Silva in September. It'll be interesting to see if the UFC books this matchup. Ilia Topuria sends shots to Conor McGregor again. Ilia Topuria has repeatedly acknowledged that Conor McGregor has had a massive impact on MMA throughout his memorable career, but the featherweight king continues to blast a controversial star over his actions and personality. Topuria has acknowledged that at one juncture, McGregor was an inspiration for him, and some have even accused the undefeated fighter of emulating the notorious one. But Topuria has also harshly criticized McGregor over the numerous allegations and incidents that he's made headlines for in recent years. Well, in a clip that recently resurfaced of Topuria on the Wild Project podcast, the champion claimed that he felt a dark energy when being around McGregor. Look, analyzing people as human beings, let's look at Conor, a guy, his wife and children, his family. I can't give an opinion. I don't know how these people are. He might be an excellent person, and I perceived his energy in a different way from what it is. He simply came to work, put on a show. But the feeling I had when he was around was, keep him away, because you can be Conor McGregor and act however you want, but no one is above me, only God. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations on your career, I respect it, but don't tell me a thing because I'll take your head off. When Topuria was asked to elaborate, he said this: "Just a terrible energy. I swear it felt like his aura came from hell. I wanted to be away from this dude. He had a black energy I've never felt before. Agustin, my trainer, he's a very spiritual guy. He's very careful with the energies. He said, this dude is gonna lose badly and split. He broke his leg that night." What do you make of Topuria's comments? McGregor has also taken verbal shots at Topuria in recent months, so don't be surprised if we hear from the former UFC champion soon. Sean O'Malley reveals shocking news after detox. Sean O'Malley has apparently decided to make a major change in his life after seeking out rehabilitation. But no, we're not talking about rehabbing from some sort of drug or substance. Sugar has decided to take a break from social media. If you follow O'Malley, then you know that he has a sizable online audience and that he's a very active participant on social media. But recently, O'Malley announced that he's taking a break from social media until he reclaims the bantamweight crown. Via the Timbo Sugar Show podcast, the star announced this: "I said I was going to start in 2025, but it's been like 2 or 3 days and I already feel more disconnected from the internet universe. Even just 3 days or whatever it's been, I already feel like the original reason, and I don't know how to articulate this yet. I feel like my higher self is trying to tell me something. I'm trying to learn something, but I'm too distracted and out of touch with reality to grasp what's trying to be taught from my higher self, and I feel like the only way to do that is just to disconnect from distractions." O'Malley certainly isn't the only person to question if they'd be more focused and disciplined if they gave up social media or doom scrolling. But what do you think? Will this have a positive impact on O'Malley's quest to reclaim the 135 throne? MMA community reacts to Conor McGregor footage. Not long ago, some fans and observers virtually piled on Conor McGregor after footage of him rolling on the mats made the rounds. Now, the controversial star is taking heat over a recent clip of him doing some bag work. Due to the somewhat slow pace of McGregor's aforementioned rolling session, many people were quick to question what was going on, and Conor did not secure a submission sooner. McGregor proceeded to report afterward, however, that he was in fact rolling with a BJJ black belt. But after this clip recently turned up of Conor doing some bag work, once again the MMA community didn't hold back. I fear not even Tony Ferguson is this washed. How does he look worse and worse with each new training video? Jake Paul is finishing this man, let's be real. Before clicking on the video and seeing Conor's IG handle, I had no idea who this was. I just thought they looked sluggish, that's crazy. A complete shell of his former self. He boxes like a bodybuilder. Do you think some fans are making too much of the clip? Or do you think it's a signal that McGregor could be washed? Khalil Rountree was happy losing to Alex Pereira. Likely, 99.9% of people on the planet would be terrified to see Alex Pereira walking out to face them in battle. But recently, Khalil Rountree reported that he actually felt jubilation and happiness before and during his scrap with Poatan. Rountree was tapped to fight Pereira at UFC 307 in October after putting together a 5-fight winning streak, which included 4 finishes. While he tested Pereira in the early going of their fight, ultimately, the light heavyweight king put Rountree away in round 4 with strikes. In a recent interview with Fight Energy Film, the 34-year-old relayed that he was so relaxed before fighting Pereira. He was actually concerned.
The only thing I can really remember is just being happy. Even the moment when I got finished in the 4th round, like I just felt so happy throughout that whole fight. It felt like I was where I belonged. Like I felt like I belonged there. It was really like living in a dream.
Fascinating comments to be sure. Now, it'll be interesting to see who Rountree faces next. Currently, he's ranked number 7 in the UFC's light heavyweight division, so one would think he'll battle another top 10 ranked contender. Who do you want to see the dangerous striker fight next? UFC gym files for bankruptcy in Placerville, California. According to Sacramento Business Journal, the operator who owns 2 UFC gyms filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for both of his gyms after allegedly owing hundreds of thousands of dollars and not being able to afford the debt. This is a legit UFC gym listed on their UFC Gyms website. We've seen a few UFC gyms close down in the last few years. Is this an indication that the UFC is in a decline? Let us know in the comments below. Alex Pereira forces his sparring partner to quit after a left hook landed. In the clip, you can see Poatan sparring with his opponent, who seems to give up after a body shot and left hook. Here's the clip.